Hey, hello my friends. Glad you could join me for another adventure here in Jim Hinckley's America. Today we're going to be searching out for a little bit of Arizona history and give you an opportunity to stretch your legs and show you a pretty little special spot here. Really scenic. One-eyed blind man's going to have trouble taking a bad photograph in this country. I'll show you what we got today. This is a 1913 Arizona Good Roads Illustrated road map and tour book. And what we're going to be doing today is here. You can see Kingman. And if we follow this up, you see where it says Beal Springs. I'll show you where that's at. This road was put in 1913 as a highway to connect with the mining town of Chloride, Arizona. We're at the Camp Beal Loop, part of the Surbet Foothills Recreation Area. This is the trailhead for that. And we'll give you some orientation to where we're going as soon as we get our equipment together. We'll start with this. This is Red Ghost Canyon. And if you look right between the little buttes there, you can see that flashing tower. To give you perspective, that is Radar Hill. That was a military installation just after the war that was, as it says, a radar station on Radar Hill. Grab our... All we're going to really need for this endeavor is our walking stick. The clouded peaks there, that's the Wallapai Mountains. 12 miles from downtown Kingman, you will find beautiful county park, Wallapai Mountain Park, Wallapai Mountain Lodge. And believe it or not, you're up in the deep pine forest up there, deer and elk. You can see the traffic going by. That is Highway 93. Soon to be part of the I-11 corridor. That's headed north towards Las Vegas, Nevada. Downtown Kingman and Route 66 is just about 1.2 miles in that direction. Just over that butte. And this, well, this is the foothills of the Surbet Mountains. So let's get started. This urban trail system is one of the best in the state of Arizona. There's actually several trail systems, but this particular trail system has a Castle Rock Trail, Sidewinder Trail, foothills, different monolith gardens, which I'll be showing you in a little bit. The White Cliffs Wagon Road trail system is just beyond those buttes on the other side of Clacks Canyon. And that's one we'll explore in a future video. So let's get started. This was for many, many years a lot of ranching country, cattle country. This area is really crucial to the development and evolution of Northwest Arizona. Before the first explorers arrived in this area, this was largely the home of the Surbet clan of the Wallapai people. The Wallapai Reservation is about 45 miles east of Kingman on Route 66. The capital there is Beal Springs. But this was a very pivotal area. This is Coyote Pass, where you see the traffic. That's known as Coyote Pass. Believe it or not, there's a lot of dependable all-year water sources in these canyons. Up in Johnson Canyon, off to my left, about 3 miles, there's actually a small stream. To my right, to my right is Johnson Canyon, and to my left would be Beal Springs. There's a small stream there, and we'll save that for another video and explore the Beal Springs area. There was a military encampment there during the 1870s, during the Wallaby Wars, to protect a vital trade corridor road, and we're going to be finding traces of that as well. Beal Springs, of course, because it's a water supply, was very important to the Wallaby people and to travelers. Now, there was a Native American trade route that crossed northern Arizona at this point, connecting a lot of the villages as far away possibly as Gran Quivira in New Mexico. And this pre-Columbian route went all the way to the Colorado River, about 45 miles west of its location, and then continued all the way to the coast of California along what later became the Mojave Road. Before the advent of the railroad in the 1880s, the Mojave Road was the principal crossing of the Mojave Desert. Beal Springs, it's one of those places that there's two stories. They're both correct, and they're both like opposite sides of the coin, if you would. For American development and exploration, the springs were pivotal towards the development of northwestern Arizona. For the Wallaby people, it's a tragedy. It's a site of genocide. It was the springs in the Wallaby Wars. It became the first reservation for the Wallaby people. Were collected and camped there. And then from Beal Springs, they were force marched to the Colorado River. And a lot of death ensued. So it's both good and a bad situation. A military encampment, and like I say, we'll address this in future videos. Military encampment was built. Sometimes it's called Fort Beal, but it's actually Camp Beal. It was just a military outpost. The wagon road was the Mojave-Prescott Road, also known as the Hardyville Road. And there's a little bit of confusion, especially in the area of Union Pass. There might have been actually two different roads at one time. The Hardyville Road was a toll road initially. Captain Hardy was a key in Arizona territorial history. During this period, when the territory of Arizona was first established in the 1860s, and well up until the advent of the railroad in the early 1880s, the Colorado River was crucial for cargo. It was basically the interstate highway of its time here in the Southwest. Steamboats plied the river and stopped at various river ports. Hardyville on the Colorado River near present-day Bullhead City, Arizona, was one of those places. The territorial capital was at Prescott, and there was a military fort there, Fort Whipple, and there was a fort at Fort Mojave on the Colorado River after the subjugation of the Mojave people. So the road from Hardyville and Fort Mojave to Fort Whipple was a vital trade corridor. So Camp Beal Springs was established during the Wallaby Wars to ensure that traffic flowed. Mining in this area kicked off big time. There were some claims found in the Black Mountain, some color, gold, pretty rugged area. For Route 66 enthusiasts, the Black Mountains is known for the scenic section along Coyote Pass. That'll be the subject of another video. Some gold was discovered there. Off-duty soldiers prospecting and others found traces of gold, but the area really didn't develop until the early 20th century, 1902, 3, 4, in that era. And then it became a major gold rush. In fact, it was the last major gold rush in Arizona. But this area, the Surbat Mountains, gold, silver, galena, other minerals were discovered in abundance. And over this ridge and along the crest, oh, probably 15-20 miles, 15 miles as the crow flies, you had several big mining towns spring up. Surbat, Mineral Park, and Chloride, most notably. Surbat and Mineral Park actually became the county seat for Mojave County at one time. They're both gone now. Mineral Park was mostly erased when an open pit mining operation was started there in the 1960s. Surbat just simply weathered and fell on hard times and vanished. Weather, salvage of buildings, vandalism have all taken their toll. It's very hard to even find the site of Surbat today. Chloride has hung on a little bit. Mostly retirees and a few old desert rats. In population, a couple hundred people maybe. It is reported to be the oldest continuously inhabited mining town in Arizona, dating to the mid-1860s. The Arizona-Utah Railroad in the late 1890s built a spur line from the Santa Fe Railroad at McConaughey across the Sacramento Valley out to Chloride. The depot still stands, and the railroad ran into the early 20th century. That's kind of gives you an idea of how important Chloride was. Originally, that railroad was supposed to run all the way to the ferry on the Colorado River and through the mining district of White Hills, but that never materialized. It never went beyond Chloride. This road that was put in about 1913 for automotive traffic is another indicative sign of the highways of the Chloride's importance. We've got a junction here. Now, Camp Beal Loop, Monolith Connector. This wonderful urban trail system, this one and the one at White Cliffs, which, like I say, we will be exploring at a future time, is developed largely by the Colorado River Area Trail Alliance and Kingman volunteers and civic groups such as Kingman Main Street help maintain and keep these trails going. Sure hope we don't get rained on here, but well, we definitely need rain. It's been quite some time couple months since we really had any rain, and it's so dry that we're going to be hunting jerky instead of deer if we're not careful. Now, Beal Springs, if you follow that line of phone poles, telephone lines and electric lines, Beal Springs would be right down at that bottom, and just beyond that is Atlantic Springs, which is near that water tank. So this was a well-watered area, and of course that's pretty darn important when you're in the desert. And like I say, we'll be talking about Beal Springs more on future episodes. We'll do a Jim Hinckley's America walkabout down there. These videos and our exploits, as well as our podcast, Coffee with Jim, are available on our YouTube channel. And for more information about these places, you can also go to our website, jimhinckleysamerica.com. Now we're on the 1913 road here. To give you a little bit of an idea. You can see the traffic there on Highway 93. And like I say, soon that'll be a connector for Interstate 11 as well, within the next couple of years. Wallapai Mountains look pretty dramatic this morning. Winter storm moving in. This is a great... Now the 1913 road continues around this curve and twists its way to the top of the summit of Coyote Pass. But we're going to show you another road. So we're going to cut down this little utility corridor. You can see remnants from the 1913 road. Yes, the rain will just hold off about another half hour. We should be good. Lots of history here in Coyote Pass. Lots of scenery, rock formations. Where we're going now, we're going to cross this wash, and before US 93 was in place, it was this was US 466. The eastern terminal for US 466 was at Kingman, Arizona, at Route 66. That would have been the road that Clark Gable and Carol Lombard followed after they married in Kingman in March of 1939. They went up to Boulder City and Boulder Dam after they married here. The legend has it that they honeymooned in Oatman, but in a recent blog post on Jim Hinckley's America, I talked about that myth and how it came to be, and how that myth has become accepted as fact. It even appears on the National Park Service website, which is pretty interesting in its own right. Got beautiful views from out here. Like I say, this mountain biking and hiking, this trail system, it's one of the great gems here in Kingman, Arizona. kind of a steep grade, a little bit of a climb. Now we'll be coming up on Highway 466 relatively quickly here. Back in that canyon is another springs, and it gets a little confusing. The 1939 map, or 1913 map, excuse me, shows that Coyote Springs is towards the summit, what would be the other side of the highway. But earlier maps show Coyote Springs in this canyon. Okay, now we've made it to Highway 466. Most of the remnants of the early highway were buried when they built the 4-lane Highway 93. But scattered here and there, you can still find cuts in the rock. Such as here. And if we look back, you can see the highway was cut through the canyon to lessen the grade. Still a pretty steep road. Of course, the new highway's got a pretty steep grade to it as well. Okay, this is Highway 466. And right at the top of this ridge, we have an intersection of history. Definitely a steep climb. You can see trucks laboring up the hill. So this isn't really a wilderness adventure, but there are sections of this trail system around the old White Cliffs Wagon Road, the old Stockton Hill Road, which I'll show you in a future video, that gives a great illusion of wilderness, even though you're less than 2 miles from Route 66 in downtown Kingman. Now, if you look here, you can see those rock retaining walls. That would be remnants of the mid-19th century Mojave-Prescott toll road, or the Hardyville Road rather, and the Hardyville toll road, or the Mojave-Prescott road, built for military application. And like I say, 466 was pretty much erased. Here you can see where they buried it when they built Highway 93 as a 4-lane highway. Here's a cut in the rock for the 1913 road, and Highway 466 would have come through here. On the other side of the highway you can see the parking area for the Monolith Gardens trail system. You can access it, park there over on Metwell Drive, or you can come to the Camp Beal Loop and cross onto the highway here. Now this, we're headed back to the truck